Ivan's going to help us out a little bit and inflict 2 wounds on Cthulhu, which means we need to do 8 more to keep the game going. The blue player has no choice but to throw everything at Cthulhu. Here we go. Train and artillery. We don't have artillery, but the train will inflict 1 and we'll lose 1 sanity. We're past the halfway point, but I'm afraid we may run out of sanity before we get there. We have 2 remaining. No luck. We do not have an airship. We do not have artillery there. And we will take 2 wounds. I will keep as diverse a selection of troops as possible there. So we'll go ahead and eliminate 1 infantryman. Continue. Again, no artillery there. No airship to take a wound. We will inflict 1 with the train for a total of 9 wounds. No airship available. The train hits him again and we lose a sanity. We have him hurt. He has 10 wounds, but we lose another sanity. We continue and we'll take a wound to our infantry. The infantry will land a wound and we won't take any. All right, it's getting a little more interesting now. Very interesting. 2 wounds from the train, but we're going to lose another sanity. All right, we need to do 2 more wounds and we need to do it without losing a sanity. All right, here we go. Oh, we don't have artillery, but we do have a train, and we'll take 1 wound. We didn't lose the sanity. We're still in it. 1 more to go. And I'll place a wound on the train for now. All right, here we go. This could be it. Oh, wait, we do have an armored car. Yes! Oh my goodness. We did the 15 wounds necessary. We would have to take another wound, but we survived, and we defended our port successfully, so the game will continue. Cthulhu is worth 12 victory points, and that will get split evenly amongst the players that did damage. So yellow will get 6, and blue will get 6. Wow, that was a ridiculous nail-biter there. I did not think I was going to survive that. I thought we were at endgame there. I thought Cthulhu was going to take our port. Well, I was totally wrong, but we're not out of the woods yet because the old ones will land on an illuminated space. And our next to last revelation is, luckily for us, an assassination. Remove the 2 rightmost personalities from the display and draw replacements. That's better than an old one coming at us. It is bad news for Mr. Marino and Mirinda Sweet. So we'll shift everybody down. Draw 2 replacements. First up is Miss Bradshaw. +1 victory point for every 3 rail track you have on the board. Well, that would work well with blue for sure. And we also have Alonza Castro. Whenever an old one attacks one of your farms, it suffers 2 damage. Well, we could have used you a while back. The first thing I'll do with the red player is have them use Jenny Appleseed to flip 1 or 2 blighted farms back to their productive side. These red farms here seem to be the furthest away and least likely to get attacked, so we'll flip both of those back over, taking points away from the old ones and giving them back to us. The red player is not going to have many opportunities to attack remaining in the game, so we will launch an attack. Send infantry, armored car, and airship. That will cost us 2 time points. And we're going to attack way up here using the blue player's rail, which will cost us another time point for a total of 3. Not completely taking the red player out of the game. They should get another 1 or 2 actions. And we'll reveal a bit of ridiculously amazing luck. 1 old one unrevealed remaining. I'll have the blue player prep for endgame and recruit help from Miss Bradshaw. So those 3 rails will be worth 1 victory point apiece, or every 3 rails will be worth 1 victory point apiece. And that only costs 1 time point, so we can go again. And we will prep for a final attack, get everybody back to headquarters. And the old one has no revealed tiles, so they will not move, but will move on to the final illuminated space. And we will have draw and place a level 3 old one tile face up on each revealed temple. Well, we don't have a revealed temple. That is amazing. What a great card to get at this time. The blue player can now go. They're only 3 away from the final spot there at 53. Let's take care of my favorite thing to forget. Billy Kneebone. Increase off-rail range of all of your units by 1, except the armored trains. I'm going to have the blue player conduct a scouting mission for the yellow player with just the armored car, which will only cost me the 1 time unit. And we can only take the armored car because our rail ends 2 hexes away. That's as far as the armored car can go. So we will attack here and have some loyalists. Loyal to the end, apparently. Worth 4 victory points and 8 health. The armored car is good against the loyalists, so we'll go ahead and do a couple of combat rounds. Get some damage on that loyalist, hopefully. Because we always have Corporal Jones that can bail us out. Well, not this time. Train and infantry will take a wound. 1 wound on the armored car. And we have a double blank. A train and artillery. No wounds to us. And here we just take a wound. So we didn't do much. So we don't lose our armored car. Corporal Jones will undo the last effect of the last old one card and withdrawals from combat. Not very effective, but at least we know what we're dealing with now. We will have the yellow player purchase some troops prior to attacking, and I'll spend 2 to get infantry into my barracks. That action costs me 1, leaving me up next for an attack. We'll launch an attack on those loyalists. It'll cost me 1 gold, so I can place another attack cube. We'll send our infantry and our artillery, and that'll cost us just the 1 time unit thanks to Professor Guillaume, which will allow yellow to take 1 last action later. And that loyalist is only 1 hex away from our yellow rail end, so we'll launch our attack and try and take out this final old one. The infantry will inflict a wound, and we'll take 1. The loyalist takes its first hit, and so do our troops. We attack. Our artillery will land another wound on the loyalist. Let's keep it going. Oh, we're going to take a wound only, and we'll go ahead and place that on our infantry, eliminating them. I want to save Franz Newman for a different unit loss. Oof. Again, we just take a wound. Tough loyalists. Another one on the infantry. Attack. The artillery lands a wound. It's the 3rd one on the loyalist. We're chipping away at him. Now we're at the halfway point. Artillery lands again. We're halfway there. We don't have an airship, and the artillery is just raining down on these loyalists. For our 5th wound on them, yellow is continuing their MVP ways, but we're going to take another wound, this time on the artillery. Keep it going. We don't have a train there, but we don't take any damage. Again, no train for us, and we will take a wound. Have to make a choice here. And we've seen a lot of artillery, so maybe there's some infantry in reserve. So I'll put the wound on the artillery, and then I'll send it back to the barracks thanks to Franz Newman. We'll continue with our attack. And I made the right choice. The infantry inflicts a wound. That's number 6. Alright, here we go. Oh, I'm going to lose my infantry. But before we do, we're going to land another wound. That loyalist is 1 away from defeat. But all of our infantry have been eliminated, leaving no troops in the battle. We'll see if the blue player can take this loyalist out. We will attack with our armored car. at the cost of 1 time unit. The loyalists are 2 off of my rail system, but the armored car can move 2, so that's not an issue. The loyalist has 7 wounds, so we only need to inflict 1. That's not going to do it, but we're still in the game here. Oof. No wounds to the enemy, 1 to us. The armored car is hit for 1. Come on, let's get this loyalist taken care of. No. Train. Airship. Airship. Need to reshuffle the empty deck. Give the deck another quick mix-up. Drop it in there and see if we can get this last wound. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it either. But that will. Nice. The blue player lands the final decisive blow. That loyalist is worth 4 victory points, so each player will get 2. There are no old ones on the board. And no more illuminated spaces for the old ones. So we'll keep playing, maximizing our victory points to ensure ourselves a win. First with the red player. First thing we'll have red do is farm. Adding a sheep farm, gaining a gold, and that cost 1 time unit, so red can take 1 last move here. We will see if we can get a card that'll help us with more points at the end, because I don't have any more spots available to farm for the red player. Alright, so we will recruit help, and we'll use the action that we can spend 1 gold, which allows us to draw 2 cards, because there's nothing on here that's worth victory points, and then we can keep 1. So we'll draw 2. Let's see what we get. Colonel Kuri. Inflict 1 damage on 1 old one during combat. Well, that would have been great, but not now. Agent Davies. Reveal 2 old one tiles of your choice. Take 2 victory points. Well, neither one of those are going to do us any good. I chose to keep Agent Davies, so Colonel Kuri will go right back face down on top. And that will be the red player's final action. The old ones would move again. And that is their final action, moving us to blue. Blue will use Ferdi Kassan to place 2 farms of your choice and still earn gold per farm. And thanks to Dagmar Kraus, I can double up on the placement of 1 type of farm, which is great because I only have sheep farms available because I have all my empty spaces available in the outback. So we'll place 2 sheep farms to gain 2 gold and victory points at the end of the game. Doing that costs me no time points, so I can still take another action, which I will do with farming. And this is a separate action, so I can place up to 3 farms. I can only really place 2 because again I'm limited because all I have is sheep farm spaces available. But thanks to Dagmar Kraus, I can again place 2 farms of the same type, earning me 2 more gold. And that would have taken 2 actions because it was 2 farms. And that would be the last move for the blue player, taking us to the final action of the game with yellow. We'll go for the victory points, place a farm, another sheep farm in the outback, costing 1 time point and ending the game. I think we're going to be victorious. Let's go through the end game scoring of victory points, and we'll start with the old ones to see what our bar is to surpass. The old ones score 1 victory point for each blighted farm, and in this case there are 3, so they'll gain 3 victory points. We use the time scale to keep track. They receive victory points for the face value of each revealed old one still on the board, so that's 0. And they would receive double the points for any face down old ones. Again, 0. I think this is going to be an easy victory for us here, since the old ones only manage 3 victory points. We'll start with the blue player. Each productive farm is worth 2 victory points. They have 4, so that's a total of 8. Each phosphate is worth 3. They have 1, so that's 3 more victory points. Next would be victory point tokens in hand, and we have a total of 3, 6, 9, 10 victory points for old ones killed by the blue player, and that is 2, 4, 5 total. And then any bonuses on personality cards. Miss Bradshaw gives me 1 victory point for every 3 rail track I have on the board. The blue player has 10 track, so that's 3 more victory points. Ending our blue player way over here with 29 total. Next we move on to red, and they have 4 productive farms worth 8, 1 phosphate worth 3, 4 victory point tokens in hand, 3 victory points for old ones killed by the red player, and the red player has no bonuses from personality cards at the end of the game. The red player ended with a total of 18 victory points. And I think the yellow player was the MVP here, but let's see if that stacks up in victory points. We have 2 productive farms for 4 points, 1 phosphate worth 3, 11 victory point tokens, 13 for defeated old ones, and no bonuses for personality cards, moving the yellow player to 31 victory points. And it seemed like the yellow player was really bringing it during the game, and that seems to be true because they had the highest victory point total. The blue player gained a ton of victory points at the end with that extra farming and railway, but the goal was for every player to surpass the victory point total of the old ones. Our ability to wipe them off the board, plus having a couple of really lucky draws, left them with only 3 victory points. We easily surpassed that and won this game of Auztralia. I'll give you my thoughts on the game. Starting with the rulebook. It is well laid out, heavily illustrated, lots of examples, very easy to follow, no problem picking up the rules and learning them quickly from the rulebook. There were some questions I had along the way that the rulebook did not cover, and rulebooks can't cover every instance. I found answers quickly on BoardGameGeek from other users, and the developer also chimed in and gave me answers very quickly. So if you have any questions during the gameplay, I know a lot of them have already been answered on there. I would look there first. The component quality is excellent. All of the cardboard is really thick and durable. No difficulty punching it out. The tokens are great. The coal, gold, iron, phosphate. It's nice to have actual tokens that are shapes instead of just cubes. There are lots of cubes in the game, but it makes sense. They're representing just actions. The cards are a nice linen finish. They really slide with each other well when shuffling. They seem to be a decent strength core. As far as theme goes, the alternate reality theme of a era where the old ones are on Earth and restricting the movement of humans around the globe, and this foray into Australia, finding their outposts there and having to fight them, was a really fun theme. I like the Cthulhu mythos. I have more games with that theme probably than any other, so that was an immediate appeal to me. I really like the mechanics of building the rails and having to move along them to conduct combat and operations. This may have seemed easy, but I lost all of my other games. I did really get a lot of lucky draws. I thought the game was going to end when our port was attacked, but we got extremely lucky and were able to take out Cthulhu and keep the game going. The old ones were just 1 card away from ending the game right there. I've only played the full co-op version as a solo game. I have not played cooperative or competitive against other players. Hoping to give that a shot here in the near future. The game does require a long play time, as you can tell by this series of videos. When you have 3 players and you're playing full co-op like me, it takes quite a while to go through it all. I imagine it would move faster if it was different people playing, because when it gets to their action, they're ready to go because they're thinking about it and seeing what's happening, where I had to step back each time and look and see what the situation was for each player. This will definitely make it to my table again with a solo playthrough, and I can even ramp up the difficulty. I know there's ways to do that if I think it's too easy. But again, I know I got really lucky because I've lost all of my previous games prior to filming. A couple of them were close, where the old ones were just 1 or 2 victory points ahead of one of the players, but that is still a loss when you're doing full co-op. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I thank you for watching. I thank you for all of your continued support, and I'll see you in my next video.